Today's lecture on AI and basics of machine learning. So we will quickly begin with the today's presentation. I have already given you a brief introduction of AI in the very first lecture, uh, and the flow of presentation for today is as follows. We'll be discussing about what is AI, then the definition of artificial intelligence, then we'll see the subfields of AI, what is machine learning, what are the types of machine learning algorithms, and what is supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning. These three are the subtypes of ML algorithms. And we'll also do a hands-on on Python machine learning code. So this will be the flow presentation for today. So quickly coming to the definition of AI, I have already told you that it is a collective term for computer systems that can sense their environment, think, learn, and take action in response to what they are sensing and their objective. So we have a very intelligent environment in front of us, something that can learn. These machines can self-learn, and they can take decisions based on their learnings, and they can take actions also. So these are uh, some basic definition. Coming to AI is used in numerous applications such as fraud protection, video games. I've already discussed that. Video games we will be using AI, virtual reality and augmented reality, and spam detection in mails. So there are certain ML algorithms, machine learning algorithms, that can quickly detect whether you have got a spam mail or you're having a genuine mail. So whenever you open your inbox, say maybe from Gmail or maybe from some other service provider, mail service provider, then you see that there are bifurcations. You are able to see whether you have got a spam mail or whether you have got a genuine mail from some genuine owner. AI also helps to streamline company operations and enhance the lives of individuals. Systems such as softbots, I have already discussed in the previous lecture. Like today, we have Amazon Alexa, Apple Siri, Google Assistant. These are all virtual assistants, and whatever questions you are asking them. They are searching from a very huge data set, and they are giving you relevant answers. Yeah. This huge data set is basically big data that Google has a very big database of search engines and all. So that's how you get answers to your queries related to the words that match when you ask a soft bot about a particular problem or a question. AI has enabled the tracking of online food orders by estimating the time of arrival using GPS enabled phones. So this is also we are using Zomato, Swiggy, all these features we have been using. So artificial intelligence has revamped all the aspects of life around us. Such AI-enabled chatbots and softbots help you get answers to your questions, take requests, and make lives easier and more efficient. Artificial intelligence discovers an individual's preferences by collecting data from products purchased, search histories, and overhead conversations. Google is building an algorithm that enables AI to learn driving through self experience, similar to humans, and this will be integrated into self driven cars and vehicles. But eventually, these are programmed machines and are likely to make mistakes. This also I have taken up. So one cannot fully rely on them and is a cause of concern and fear to adopt this technology at a larger scale. So we see that we are going to study about the subfield of artificial intelligence. This a definition of AI and introduction of AI I have taken up in the very first lecture. So there are three. You can say there are two subfields of AI: machine learning and deep learning. And in this new era of technology, companies and developers around the world are talking about embracing artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning. All these acronyms are often loosely used in the field of technology. It is important to understand that all these acronyms are part of a artificial intelligence umbrella. So when you program or you like, for example, if a newborn baby learns to walk, then he's uh, he's not able to walk in perfectly in the very first go, in the very first attempt. he'll fall, or he or she will fall and learn that if what is the correct way of standing, and how to put the first foot forward and then the second foot forward. And this is how the child learns by his own mistakes and starts to walk. Okay, so it is similar to that, where machine learning algorithms are taking up uh, your queries, and it is processing it and saving it in a huge data set, in a huge database. And these database, when they are when you program them, these if you can for example, like if you are talking about segmentation or image uh, classification, so if you show various images to a system, say like different fruits or fruits items are there, say suppose apple is there and banana is there, oranges are there, and you keep on showing them different aspects of a particular fruit, that say suppose apple is of red color and the shape is round, and it has a green leaf, and it has a green leaf and everything, then there is a possibility that the machine can learn about the features of the image of the apple. Similarly, if you talk about orange, it is round in color, it is round in shape, and the color is orange. And there are certain features like color, the texture, then you learn about the uh, extraction, how the segmentation can be done based on the features. Okay, so machine learning is basically learning about the features and then predicting a this label, which category is this particular object is dependent in. Is it a fruit, whether it is an apple or an orange or some other fruit? Okay, so this was an example of a fruit. Let's come to AI, ML, and DL. AI is an umbrella discipline that covers everything related to making machines smarter. Machine learning, ML, is commonly used along with AI, but it is a subset of AI. ML refers to an AI system that can self-learn based on the algorithm. Systems that get smarter and smarter over time without human intervention is machine learning. So machine learning is basically self-learning based on the algorithm. So you devise an algorithm, you program it, and you put in all the features. You make them different. The data set consists of various features, and based on the features, you depict whether which label it is going to be part of. Okay, so we'll be taking up an example in the end of this session, and we'll be seeing how a particular uh, machine learning algorithm designed in Python can detect whether there is a. We have taken up an example of a car, whether it is a family car or it is a sports car. Okay, so we are taking that example in the end of the session today. So deep learning is a machine learning ML applied to large data sets. So this can be applied to large data sets, and examples of such data sets can be artificial neural networks, uh, complex neural networks, and others. Okay, CNNs and ANNs. So it's similar to like working of a brain, where when a child learns to walk, uh, various neurons are in action, and it is taking up all these signals from the sensory nodes of the body, like the muscles and the fingers of the foot. Everything is in action, and it is giving a particular signal to the brain, and that signal will determine how much pressure is required while standing up, how much time you should take a step forward for the first time, and so on. So deep learning is basically programming a brain to do something particular task that is to be done, and it is like programming a brain. So there are complex neural networks, artificial neural networks that are complex, and they are programmed. So that is called deep learning. So there is a very slight difference between ML and DL. ML can be, you can consider for tiny applications, for say suppose image recognition, and examples like segmentation of a particular object from an image. That can be also an example. let's move ahead. This deep learning is a subset of AI, is a technique that is inspired by the way a human brain filters information. So it is associated with learning from examples. So you learn from the various examples. Just like humans learn from their mistakes, it learns from various example sets. Okay, that you will be putting into a data, and you'll be providing it into the machine learning algorithm. So DL system helps a computer model to filter the input data through layers to predict and classify information. Deep learning processes information in the same manner as the human brain. It is used in technologies such as driverless cars. DL network architectures are classified into convolutional neural networks, recurrent neural networks, and recursive neural networks. So machine learning is a subset of AI that uses statistical learning algorithms. So this is an important term. We use statistical learning algorithms like regression analysis, regression, and we'll be using like uh, curve fitting. If you have done in your mathematics, curve fitting, and we predict values related to the curve fitting or regression analysis that we have done. So regression is basically bringing out a relation between two or more variables. Okay, so there may be two variables. Say suppose there is a example of a car I'm taking up, where if there is a capacity of the engine, that is one of the feature, and the number of seats that the car is having inside it. So suppose if I program that it is, if a feature is one, that is number of seats in a car is one, and the engine capacity is say 1000 cc, then it is a sports car. Okay, so this is how we program it, and giving various examples. So I've given two features, like the number of seats in a car and the uh, example that I've taken, that the engine capacity. So these are two features that are being programmed. So next, when I set up another example, say I say 5 seater, the number of seats in a car is 5, and the capacity is say only 200 cc or 300 cc, then it is categorized in the category of family car. So that's no more a sports car but a family car. Okay, so based on these features, you can predict whether a car of 6 seater is a family car or a sports car. Okay, so that's a technique in which algorithms are being designed. It uses algorithms that pick up data to build predictive models. So prediction is the main programming style here. Prediction based model. So whenever you give a data and you predict some future value, okay, so there is a prediction. Just like if you're using Amazon, and if you are searching something on the Google, then Amazon quickly searches the item that you have searched in the Google, and it will give you predictions to buy the same on the same page. So that is prediction model, that you are looking for an item on the internet and you may be interested to buy that. So that's how predictive models work, and they start giving you advices, and they start looking for the users to buy these items. So machine learning relies on data. So whatever data you provide, so whatever data you search on the internet, based on that calculations, based on that effectiveness, more effective machine learning is provided, and you are given a predictive predictions that you need to buy this item, or you may be interested more about, so related search pages about those items that you have searched will be provided to you. So this is how ML algorithms work. So there are types of ML algorithms. So broadly, there are three types of machine learning algorithms: supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning. We'll be taking up examples, looking what are these basically. So let's see, the recommendation systems on music and video streaming services are examples of ML. The machine learning algorithms are classified into three categories: supervised, unsupervised, and reinforced learning. So this is another uh, example of machine learning, and we are looking forward for these three types of machine learning algorithms that are available. Unsupervised learning, they can be used for structure discovery, meaningful compression, big data visualization, recommended systems, targeted marketing, customer segmentation. Okay, and supervised learning like fraud detection, image classification, customer retention, forecasting, predictions, process optimization, new insights. Reinforcement learning like learning tasks, skill acquisition, robot navigation, virtual gaming, AI, real-time decisions and all. So these are certain application areas in which particular style of ML algorithm is being used. So unsupervised learning for feature elicitation, structure discovery, supervised learning for diagnostics, forecasting, predictions, reinforcement learning for learning tasks, skill acquisition to make a machine learn some particular skill. So all these are different categories of machine learning algorithms used for various different applications. Okay. So let us take up one example and understand how machine learning algorithms work. So suppose this man here is his name is Paul, and he is very much interested in listening to music. Okay, he listens to music and he is able to uh, like or dislike a particular music based on four categories. Say suppose the tempo, the genre, the intensity, the gender of the voice. Okay, so basically Paul is a person who is you can predict what based on his likeness and dislikeness of a particular music, you can judge what kind of a music does Paul listen to always. So for taking up this example, we are considering only the first two, for this tempo and intensity. We are taking in tempo and intensity, and we're plotting a graph between tempo and intensity. And this is the graph that we have plotted for Paul. And we see that we are taking a range of tempo from relaxed tempo, okay, from relaxed to fast. Okay, so there are fast beats and there are slow beat songs. Okay, so that way you can understand the tempo is either relaxed or fast. And we are also taking up intensity. So intensity is light or soaring. That is listening to soft, some light music, or soaring with high intensity. Okay, so based on this, if you see these plots, this is a scatter plot. This is a scatter plot, and we are using this scatter plot to describe what kind of music Paul loves to listen. Okay, so that is how we can say that. Suppose if you see this model, there are two categories or two segments of music that they are able to decide that Paul maybe he's not liking songs like this. Is the red color are showing dislike. So red color dots are disliked. So that means light music, music with light intensity and relaxed tempo is not listened by, is not heard by or not much liked by Paul. But the music with fast tempo and soaring intensity is the choice of Paul for listening music. So basically, we can say that Paul likes more of the soaring intensity music with fast tempo. So he's a kind of a youthful person who is able to like enjoy or like music with fast and soaring intensity, fast tempo and soaring intensity. Okay, so let us come to another scenario where we see that there is a song A, there is a song A and a song B. So let us consider that song A is having a fast tempo. Song A is a category in which there is a fast tempo and soaring intensity. So that means somewhere it is lying at this point. Okay. So that means it can be, then we will predict whether Paul will like it or not. So we see that it is in the category where Paul's likeness is more considerate in this scatter plot. Okay, so we can say that A is a music or a song that is much more liked by Paul. Okay, and we consider another example of song B. Now, song B has a medium tempo and medium intensity, so it is neither in the category of green nor in the category of red. That is, it is neither liked or disliked. So now, when you wish to predict such model, whether it will be liked or not liked by Paul, so here comes the machine learning algorithm. So now we have to put uh, machine learning algorithm in it. Machine learning algorithm. So now you see where we require machine learning algorithms. It is where when we are not able to predict the likeness or dislikeness of listening music by Paul. So when there are certain uncertain situations when you don't know about which label it is to be categorized, when something is there and you're not able to categorize into which category it will come, so that is why we are, that is the place where we using machine learning algorithms. So machine learning algorithms induces say supervised learning. So this is called supervised learning where there are labels. So label is like and dislike. There are two labels. So this is the category of supervised learning. Supervised learning example. Okay, so what we'll do next, we will plot a circle around B, and we'll see how many times there is the number of neighbors that are more likely to appear in the likeness category and the dislikeness category. So if you plot a circle around B, we'll see that there is four nearest neighbors in the category of like, and there is only one nearest neighbor in the category of dislike. So the chances of song B to be liked by Paul is more. So we can say that B is a song that is probably going to be liked by Paul, and it will be like the genre of the sound or of the song will be liked by Paul. So this is how machine learning algorithms can take up data. So what is machine learning doing? It is taking up all these data. So all these green dots and red dots are data set for machine learning algorithm, and it is being processed, and based on that there is a prediction model. So song B will lie in which category, whether it will be liked by Paul or disliked by Paul, that will be predicted by the machine learning algorithm. So a brief idea would have been got by now why we are using machine learning algorithm, so that we can predict a relation between two or more labels, okay, of a particular data. So we take up another example of supervised learning. Here we are saying that there is an example, like suppose you are given your friend is given you 10,000 coins. Say suppose 10,000 coins are given by your friend to you, and it is of mixed denomination. Say there is a rupee coin, there is a euro, and there is this dirham. Okay, so there are three different currencies: rupee, euro, and dirham. And this is 1 rupee, this is 1 euro, and this is 1 dirham. So basically, there are different weights of these coins. Say suppose a rupee is of 3 grams, euro is of 7 grams, and dirham is of 4 grams. So so this will be programmed. So we are giving them different data sets, and we are giving them this feature. So weight becomes one of the feature of the coin, and label becomes the currency. If I ask the machine learning algorithm, the weight of the coin is 3 grams. So what will be its prediction? Its prediction will be that it is a rupee coin, 1 rupee coin. Okay. So let us take up another example. Say suppose there is this is a cricket problem where we have got the names of say cricket players. Okay, various cricket players are there, mixed in the sense there are bowlers and there are batsmen. Both these are names are there, and there is a category of scores and the number of wickets. Okay, and this data is being provided in a computer system in an in a machine learning algorithm. In a machine learning algorithm. So what does this do? It will plot a graph. It will plot a scatter plot like this. On the x-axis we have the number of wickets, and on the y-axis we have the number of runs scored by the particular cricketer. Okay, so there are two categories now. If you can see, there are two scatter clusters. These are two different clusters, cluster A and cluster B. So based on these two clusters, can you predict whether which one is like, there are two categories. Cluster A is saying that it has scored more runs and taken less of wickets. Okay. And there is cluster B in which there is more number of wickets and less number of runs that are scored. That means cluster A is a group of batsmen. Understood? Cluster A is a group of batsmen and cluster B is a group of bowlers. Understood? So this is how we can predict now, but these labels, this is to be noted that these labels were not provided in the original data set. Labels were not there. So something where there are no labels and you predict some model based on the labels which are not present, and you are giving that label during the programming, that is called unsupervised learning. And in supervised learning, like in the previous one, you had the label that it is of which currency, whether it is a rupee, whether it is a euro, whether it is a dirham. So based on the feature, you are extracting a label. So feature and label, these are two categories in which we will be programming, or will be taking up one program in the session later. And so based on the feature, you are able to extract a particular label. You'll be able to decide a label of a object. Okay. So we have taken unsupervised learning. Now take up, say, reinforcement learning. So what is reinforcement learning? Say suppose there is, I provide a picture of a dog. Okay. This is a picture of a dog, and I give it as an input in the machine with some ML algorithm. ML algo is there. Okay. But the machine is giving me an output of cat, which is obviously wrong. So I gave the input as dog and I got an output of cat. So this is not the correct answer. So what I do, I give a negative feedback. I give a negative feedback to the machine learning computer or the system or the machine learning machine, and that this is not a cat but a dog. So what happens? So next time when I put a dog picture, then it will be able to give me the right answer. So it starts learning from the, we have taken two examples, starts learning from the decisions that you have, results that you have got from your ML output, machine learning algorithm. So we can give either a negative feedback or a positive feedback. So feedback is important. So this is known as reinforcement learning. So it reinforces by the feedback that you give to the machine learning algorithm. So this is reinforcement learning. So you understand the difference between supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement learning. So these are the three basic differences. And let's take up the flowchart of the ML algorithm or the ML model. So you take up some input, you put it into a model, and you get a output. And if it is a desired output, then also you give a feedback. And if it is not a desired output, then also you give a feedback. So based on the type of output, whether it is uh, expected or an expected outcome or unexpected or unusual outcome. So you give a feedback based on these two. So even if it is an expected outcome, you still give a feedback that yes, we got the right answer. Or unexpected outcome, you still given a negative feedback that no, the answer was incorrect. So that's how you train a particular model. So there is training. Important word that we have got is training. Basically, you are training your data set. This is an important word used in machine learning algorithms. So what you are doing, you are taking a set of inputs and you are training them to find or predict various models. Okay, you understand the meaning of training. So based on the discussions that we have done, there is a small quiz for you all. Participate. Say you have three scenarios and you have to tell me which one is supervised learning or unsupervised learning algorithm. So there is a scenario one in which Facebook recognizes a particular image through various tagged images. So from an album, it detects a friend of yours and gives you suggestion that he may be your friend when where you are also tagged and this particular guy is also tagged in a particular album from a different friend, from a common friend. Okay, so this is a scenario. So you tell me whether it is supervised or unsupervised. Scenario 2 is where you are given recommendations on Netflix movie about the recommendation of the this thing, that which movie you will like to watch. Okay, suppose you have watched a movie and you are again given a prediction that not prediction but recommendation that you get, you would also like to watch this movie particular. So it is because of the various people that have watched the same movie and the other movie that has been recommended simultaneously. So it is also giving you a prediction. So you tell me whether it is supervised or unsupervised learning. And then the third category is there is a banking system in which fraud has to be detected, and there are various transactions that are going on. And based on those transactions, you have to detect whether it is a fraud transaction or a legitimate one, okay, a legal one. So can you tell me which category will these three belong to?
Good morning, sir. So I think scenario 2 is unsupervised learning. Scenario 3 is supervised learning. Not sure for scenario 1. I think that will be supervised learning.
Scenario one is the supervised learning. Okay, and scenario two is unsupervised.
Unsupervised learning.
And scenario
Where
three?
that would be also supervised learning because it is matching with the feature and the label. I think so. So not sure for this.
No, actually, you are right for the first one, wrong for the second one, and again wrong for the third one also. So
Okay.
basically, scenario one is your supervised learning. It is correct because it is giving you tagged images. So Facebook is able to recognize a person with tag. That means there is labels. Okay, so the Facebook application is able to recognize and give you prediction of through face recognition. So that's a tag, and that's a label. And so this will come under the supervised learning. Now, when we come to scenario two, it is also supervised learning. Why? Because a particular genre of movie you are liking. Okay, like it is an action movie, it is a comedy movie, and based on your uh, experience of watching movie, it is predicting or recommending some other movies that some other person may have also watched in the sequence. Okay, so comedy movie or action movie, that are basically labels that are provided, and it is recommending you movie scenarios. Okay, third one, third is an unsupervised learning, because in a banking scenario, uh, transactions are like numerous. You are not able to detect which transaction is a fraud one or which one is a legitimate one. So for that you need deep learning algorithms. For that we need deep learning, and deep learning basically is unsupervised learning. Okay, so that is how we come to this, and we can also see the explanation of this in the next slide. So scenario one, I'm taking up this again. Facebook recognizes your friend in a picture from an album of tagged photographs. Explanation: it is a supervised learning. Here, Facebook is using tagged photos to recognize the person. Therefore, the tagged photos become the labels of the pictures, and we know that when the machine is learning from label data, it is supervised learning. Okay, so answer 1 was correct. Scenario 2, recommending new songs or movies based on someone's past music choices. Explanation: it is also supervised learning. The model is training a classifier on pre-existing labels like genres of songs, like genres of movie, comedy, action, romance, and all such movie categories are there. So this is what Netflix, Pandora, and Spotify do all the time. They collect the songs or movies that you like already, evaluate the features based on your likes or dislikes, and then recommend new movies or songs based on similar features. So this is also a type of supervised learning. Then come to scenario 3. Analyze bank data for suspicious looking transactions and flag the fraud transactions. So this is a very tedious task. So it is unsupervised learning. Let us see how. In this case, the suspicious transactions are not defined. Hence, there are no labels of fraud or not fraud. So we are not able to discriminate between if it is a fraud transaction or not fraud transaction or a legitimate transaction. So the model tries to identify outliers by looking at anomalous transaction, flags them as fraud. There are anomalous transactions, and therefore there is unsupervised learning. So there are no labels. That means it is unsupervised learning. Okay. So let us come to one problem in machine learning that we'll be taking up today. And the question here is we are going to perform a supervised learning using scikit-learn. So scikit-learn is you can say package, or you can say there is a feature in Python, feature of Python that can perform machine learning algorithm or supervised learning, that can perform supervised learning, and through decision tree. This is a this classification is called classifier with decision tree. So you make a prediction based model. This is a prediction based model, prediction based model on the data you will be providing. So this is the data that we'll be providing into the system, and based on our decision tree, it will classify whether any input that we give related to this number of seats in a car and the capacity of car, and it will give me the label, particularly whether it is a sports car or a family car. Okay, so it will provide me with a model. So let us understand this example in which we have taken up number of seats in a car. This is the first feature. We can say it is as feature 1. Then the engine capacity of the car. So let's this be feature 2. Okay, and this is a particular label. Sorry, the spelling of label is wrong. So this is label, where if a car is a two-seater car and it has a capacity of 100 cc, then it's a sports car. Okay, and if it's a six-seater car with capacity 25 cc, then it's a family car. So these are different examples or data sets, you can say. So all this becomes your data set for supervised learning. Data set for supervised learning. So how does it come into the category of supervised learning? Because there are labels: sports car, family car. So how many labels are there? 2. So based on these values of number of seats in the car and the capacity of the engine capacity of the car, we are providing it with a label whether it is a sports car or a family car. Okay, so you can do it in 2 ways. One thing is that we'll be training using Google Colab. I don't know whether you are using it or not, but we can use Google Colab. It is a online IDE, online IDE, integrated development environment. Okay, all must be familiar with IDE, I think so. And basically it is difficult to install Python on your system and run it using this because there are lots of toolboxes that you need to install, like Keras, Pandas, and scikit-learn and TensorFlow. All these are ML algorithms. Basically, these are, you can say, packages that you need to install before you start working with machine learning. Okay, on Python. So Python is easy to install. I've already shown you in some of the examples in some of the lectures previously, and Python is easy to install. But when you talk about machine learning, so you need to install all those packages when we start working with machine learning. So I had a time constraint, and so I'm using Google Colab for this purpose. And I'm also going to show you how Google Colab works, and you can also start programming from very scratch from using Google Colab. Okay. So basically, what I have done, as a solution, what I have done, I have trained my ML algorithm, this decision tree classifier algorithm. It is already there in the scikit-learn. It is already available with the package called, with the ML algorithm package called scikit-learn. Scikit-learn, or in short, we also call it as sklearn. So this package is already there in Google Colab. So you no need to install it. We just have to import it. It is already there. Like just if you can remember, if we write a typical C program, then the first two lines are hash include studio.h, hash include conio.h. So you include those header files that you will be needing. It is similar to that. sklearn is also an inbuilt library. It is a library function, and you just have to import this library and then you start working. So it is as simple as that. You can start from very you just no need to install any packages on your system, but you can use Google Colab for free. It is free. Okay. So we are training our data set. So if you see this, so I am taking two features, feature 1 and feature 2. So I have taken a variable called features, in which I am taking up two features. 2,100 is the first feature of a first car, that is sports car. 2 is the number of seats, and 100 is the number of the engine capacity. Okay, so that I am saying here as 2,100, and the related label is 1. So 1 here represents sports car or race car, and 2 represents family car. Okay, so I am based on this 2,100, I have given 1. Okay, so it's a sports car based on this label. 2 will be family car. So I am giving this data set as my input, these two data sets. So features are there as one input and label is there as second input. This much have you understood, all of you? It is very simple to understand. And this is the code that I'll be using to predict the model. So you just import sklearn. So I've just told you how to import sklearn. sklearn is a inbuilt library for ML algorithm. Inbuilt library package for supervised learning ML. Supervised learning. Okay. Then from sklearn, now we are importing a classifier, a decision tree classifier. So we be using a method called tree. So we say from sklearn import tree. Okay, and in that tree we are putting in the input as these two features and label. Okay, so these are the features and label. So and then a call function is there, clf is equal to tree dot decision tree classifier, and we fit this line, the curve fitting. It's just like regression analysis. So we fit these decision tree with the features and label. So features and label are being fit in a graph, in a particular graph, and a model has been created. And then we'll be predicting based on this CLF classifier that print CLF dot predict 5, 250. So whether a car with 5-seater and 250cc, whether it is a family car or a sports car, this will be predicted. So let us see how this works on a particular Google Colab window. So coming to this, yes. So the input that I have taken here is this is a Google collab.research.google.com. The same link you can open, and when you will open, you will see this as a untitled 0.ipynb. So it is a Python notebook. Okay, so the file extension is Python notebook. So you get open to a notebook where you can type another program. Okay, so it is simple, very simple to work with, and you can write a code like import sklearn from sklearn import tree. Then you give the features equal to this, label is this, clf tree dot and this. Okay, so based on this, I've taken up this example where features 1, 150, 250, 260, 120, 122, 280. All these features have been given. So that means it is a single seater car with 150cc, two seater car 50cc, two seater car 60cc, one seater car 120cc, one seater car 122cc, two seater car 80cc. So based on that, I'm predicting whether it is a family car or it is a sports car. So if it is a one seater car, I'm predicting it is a sports car. If it is a two seater car, I'm saying that it is a family car, and so on. Okay, so let's try to run this code again, and 140cc as input. Okay, and I'm predicting the model for this particular example. So it is giving me an output 2. So that means it is of label 2, that is your family car. So 4-seater car with 140cc is your family car. So this is how you try to run this program on Python notebook, and you can make this is an example of supervised learning where you can give various data sets. If suppose you are not getting a desired output, what you do, you train with another examples. You write more examples to this, you stuff more examples to these features, and write the various labels to it, whether it is one or two sports car or a family car, and you try again until unless you start getting your corrected results. Okay, so this is how you try to fit various features with labels, and this is how you will be predicting what particular category a particular feature is a label of. Okay, understood how import sklearn and all these features will be running. Google Colab, you can start working with Google Colab and try to learn. And this question is for your assignment. You will be putting this as an assignment in a few days as a part of your assignment that will be posted on Saturday. So this brings us to the end of my presentation today. Any question anywhere you want to ask?
Thank you, sir.
No, sir.
Thank you.